The last thing that you might be wondering how to do if you're brand new to WordPress is how to add an image or your drawovers. So remember, you can't create those drawovers actually in WordPress. You'll need to do it in Photoshop or some other type of design software program, or possibly some preview options on computers do allow for some minor drawovers. But however you do it, you'll create your drawovers somewhere else. And then the important thing is how to get those saved drawovers into your post. So if you're brand new, here's how you do it. The first thing you'll do is start writing your post, and then once you get a cursor, you'll want to essentially start a new paragraph. So the cursor is blinking over here on the left, and there's no text or anything on this line. That brings up this black square with the plus sign in it. You click that plus sign and it will add a block. Remember, this is the block editor in WordPress that we're working with. So this adds a new block, and the block will include an image. Most of the time, the image feature is in this first section of most used blocks, but it might not be. So if you don't see it here, you're going to go ahead and click through some of these other flyout menus. You might find it in common blocks maybe if it's not already in most used, but for me it's in most used. So you'll click the image block and it gives you some additional information. Now there's 3 ways that you can do it. You can upload it, you can put it in the media or grab it from the media library, or insert it from a URL. I haven't taken it into my media library in my blog yet, so I want to actually upload it, and then it will show up in my post at the same time. So I'll go ahead and hit the upload button. I've saved my image in the downloads folder as an island. That happens to be what I'm working with. So I'm going to go ahead and hit choose, and then it will save the image in my media library as well as save it into my blog post. So it's going to take a minute. This image is pretty big, but then the images should show up. The cursor's flashing right here, and that's for the image caption. You're more than welcome to include the image caption if you'd like to, but for the sake of our assignments, you don't need to. The one thing that you will need to do is make sure that you give proper attribution. So you tell me who created the photo. I like to do that in just a normal paragraph as opposed to in a caption.